我不知道中文，可是我想试一下。
I have a degree in modern and classical Chinese, and I've made multiple videos critiquing Westerners speaking Chinese, and today we have a really good one to look at because the mayor of New York, Mamdani, is that how you say his name? Uploaded a video to Instagram about giving out free Broadway tickets to New Yorkers, but the whole thing was in Mandarin Chinese.
了解如何参加抽签。
To be honest, he should have done it in Cantonese, would have been way cooler.
你好，我叫 Mayor Sora Mamdani。 我唔識中文，但我好想試下。
Doing it in Mandarin is only really speaking to more recent immigrants, okay? Not the people who've been living in New York's Chinatown for a long time who all speak Cantonese.
有冇搞錯啊？
But you know, it's a good effort, and he actually seems to be into trying out different languages and different accents. There was recently a resurfaced interview where he maintains a fake Ugandan accent for basically the whole video.
Nepotism and hard work goes a long way.
But we're not here to make fun of him this time, okay? This is a serious look at his effort in speaking Chinese. So let's take a look, and we'll talk you through each thing he says and point out the mistakes, but also the parts he got right.
你好，我的名字是 Mayor Sora Mamdani。
Okay, well, his 你好, that was right, okay? The tones were perfect, okay? 你好. The next thing he says, 我的名字是 Zohan Mandani. I feel like that sounds a little bit like something a Westerner would say. It's got like Sheldon vibes. Remember when Sheldon spoke Chinese in The Big Bang Theory? 我的名字是 Sheldon, right?
我的名字是 Sheldon.
I feel like you don't really need to say that many words. I know why. It's because he's directly translating from English. Okay, my name is. But you could actually just say, you don't even need to say 我的名字是. You could just be like 我是 Zohan Mandani, right? That's it. Or 我叫 Zohan Mandani. You don't need to say like 我的名字是. You know, it's I feel it's a little bit overkill. But anyway, let's keep going.
我不知道中文，可是我想试一下。
Okay, the next part. 我不知道中文，可是我想试一下. The translation here is a bit weird. I'm wondering how they translated this, whether this was like Google Translate and then he just... Because on Google Translate, you can type in English, you can get Chinese characters, and it'll also give you the pinyin with all the tone marks. So you could actually just type in a load of English, get the Google translated stuff, and then read it off. You wouldn't necessarily know, which word meant what, so you wouldn't really know what you were saying at each exact moment, although you'd know the gist of it. But I'm wondering how you translated this. But anyway, he says 我不知道中文, which literally means I don't know Chinese. But in Chinese, you'd never say that, yeah? You'd never use the word know in Chinese to talk about being able to speak a language. You would say 我不会说中文, I cannot speak Chinese. So, or 我不懂中文, I don't understand Chinese. But I think probably 我不会说中文 would be, actually you can also just say 我不会中文, like you can leave out the verb to speak. So, 我不知道中文 definitely has some Google Translate vibes there. Let's just listen to it again, okay? Because I think some of the tones he got right, some of them he got wrong. So let's just listen.
我不知道中文。
He says 我不知道中文. So his 中文 was both the first tone, the high level tone. So it should have been 中文. But, the other tones were actually pretty good. And actually throughout the whole thing, you're going to see, I think probably something like 90% of the tones he actually gets right. So he obviously has like a talent for languages, even though he doesn't speak this language, but he's actually making quite a good effort. The next part.
可是我想试一下。
可是我想试一下. So his 可是, the tone wasn't quite right. It should have been 可是. And then 我想试一下. It means, but I would like to have a go, right? The grammar of the sentence is fine, okay? 我想试一下, 可是我想试一下. But his 想, which means to want, this word begins with an X in pinyin, okay? And the X sound in Chinese is kind of halfway between a sh and a s. Okay, it's like sh, if you can hear the difference there. And if you listen to what he says, let's hear it again.
可是我想试一下。
我想, it's more like 我想. So he doesn't quite understand how to say an X sound in Chinese. It's 我想试一下. So it's a common mistake. But it's interesting because he's making the mistakes that you would expect on like the hardest parts, right? The most obvious places where a person would make a mistake. So he's doing pretty well.
纽约市政府将免费送出2000多张百老汇演出门票。
演出门票. This is funny. This part, I would say, I mean, it's pretty good, but he's kind of separating the words a lot, but some of it, he actually kind of separates the wrong parts, all right? So, 纽约市, New York City, 政府, government, 将 means something happening in the future, okay? Something will happen. 免费, for free, 送出, give out, okay? For the most part, this was correct, but you can see that he actually doesn't really fully understand what he's reading because he kind of splits up the words wrong, okay? So he says 纽约市, that's fine, that's great, New York City. He says that as one word. Then he pauses and he says 政府将, all right? As if 政府将 is like a 3-letter word, but actually it's not. It should just be 政府. So 政府on its own means government, right? 将 is kind of like connected to the next thing that he's going to say. 将 means like in the future or will be happening, right? So he kind of splits it up in a little bit incorrectly. 纽约市政府将, that's not a word, right? It should be 政府.
纽约市政府将
Yeah, you can kind of tell he doesn't speak it, but you know, the tones were actually pretty good. Let's just listen to that one more time to hear the tones.
纽约市政府将免费送出2000多张百老汇演出门票.
Yeah, the next part, 2000多, instead of saying 张, the measure word for tickets, he said 将. Okay, so that's like, you know, it sounds pretty similar, I guess because he had the word 将 in the previous line that he said.
政府将2000多张
But it should have been 张, 2000多张.
2000多张百老汇演出门票.
I mean, it was not completely like 将, it was sort of halfway in between, but he could have been more clear with it. 2000多张百老汇门票, so tickets to Broadway shows.
请于8月17日之前访问以下网站。
请于8月17日, okay, August 17th, 之前访问, what did it say? 网站, 访问以下网站. Yeah, it's a little bit, like the translation I feel is a little bit formal. Like you say 请于, yu is like a very written down, 很书面, right? A very written Chinese sort of character to use. He could have just said 8月17日前访问一下网站. You know, that probably would have been better. But I mean, the words are right as well, like 访问 to visit a website. You know, that was correct. And the tones were pretty correct, although he did sound a little bit like a robot, but he got the tones right. So, you know, for someone who doesn't speak Chinese, it wasn't bad.
了解如何参加抽签。
了解如何参加抽签. All the tones were right. He just is very overemphasized, but, you know, it's better than getting them wrong. So, yeah, pretty good.
您还可以免费获得 the Theater Development Fund.
您还可以免费获得 the Theater Development Fund. I love how he's like, as soon as in English, everything's like smooth and and fast again. It's kind of funny. And look, he's smiling as well. Look at that. Look at that face. He knows this is amusing.
为期2个月的会员资格。
Okay, so 为期2个月的会员资格. He just pronounced that a little bit wrong. 资格. I don't know why he pronounced it like that, but 资格 should be 资格. You're kind of qualified as a member for 2 months.
享受百老汇演出的折扣。
享受百老汇演出的折扣. So there was one tone wrong there. He said 享受. He kind of the show, he pronounced it as a first tone, but you know, most of the rest of it was right. 享受百老汇演出的折扣. Enjoy discounts at Broadway shows. The words were kind of like split up a bit too much, and one tone was wrong, and also the 演出.
演出
It was 演出, but he kind of says it 演出 some little weird way, but you know, not bad.
演出现场见。
Okay, so this is the final line. 演出现场见. And there's that X thing again, how, you know, because he's a Westerner and he hasn't really studied Chinese, he's not pronouncing the X words correctly. It was like 现场. Let's listen to that again.
演出现场见。
演出现场见. So the X, the 现, it should be 现场. 演出现场见. But, you know, for someone who doesn't speak Chinese, and he admits that at the beginning, he's like, 我不知道中文, huh? I don't know Chinese, and I'm even getting the word to say I don't know Chinese wrong, right? To show you that.
我不知道中文。
I think it's pretty good. I don't know whether he had like a Chinese person on set with him, like listening to him. And why would they leave in that little mistake like 我不知道中文? Maybe they thought that would actually show that he really doesn't know Chinese because he's even getting that grammar of that word wrong. I don't know. But yeah, if I had to give it like a rating, I would say that like pretty much 90% of the tones were correct. And about 90% of the pronunciation was correct too. He only really got wrong words that had an X at the beginning. He was, instead of saying like xiang or whatever, he was pronouncing it as shang.
我想试一下。
All right, or 现场 instead of 现场.
现场见。
He got like 1 or 2 tones wrong. The word 资格, qualification, right, or qualified or something. I think he pronounced it 资格.
会员资格。
Right, so he had like an E sound instead of an I in pinyin. Like E is like and I is like right, in pinyin. So it should have been 资格, not 资格. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed. Oh, and the only other major mistake he had was that 政府江, right? He didn't split. He didn't have a little gap between 政府 and 江. He said it as if it was one word.
纽约市政府江。
But I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. So if you want free theater tickets for Broadway, you know, go to that website. Although he said before the 17th. So it's the 17th today. So I don't know if you've missed your chance. Maybe you had to go at the weekend. Check out that website. It was 2,000 free tickets anyway. But then you could also get become a member of the Theatre Development Fund and get that qualified as a member for 2 months or something and get a discount on tickets too. So I don't know. If you're in New York and you're interested, go and check it out. But if I had to give him a number out of 10, you know, for someone not speaking Chinese, just trying it out, I would say probably an 8 out of 10. So, you know, if this was someone who'd studied for a year, I would say terrible. But, you know, for someone who's literally just trying it out, yeah, 8 out of 10. Well done, Mr. Mamdani. All right, guys, let me know what you think of his Chinese in the comments below. And please subscribe to our channel if you're new. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.